What is up, my friends? How are we? You are very welcome along to Thursday night's late night agenda. Obviously, there's only one place to start this stream tonight, and that is with a massive thank you to JC Galvanil in the chat. Not only has JC gifted 10 Anfield Agenda memberships to kick us off, he's also thrown in a $200 super chat. Now, I should point out that JC did message me on WhatsApp just to say that he would like us to use that money if there was anybody who wanted to come to the Cardiff show or any of our other shows and finances are a barrier for them. JC messaged me to say that he'd like to donate that to make sure that some people who may not be able to go to the show for financial reasons would have the ability to go. And that, my friends, is why I'm humbled to be here as part of what is, in my opinion, the greatest collection of human beings on the internet. And I'm just so blown away by your generosity, JC. And exactly as you've said, mate, we will make sure that that goes to a good use. And if anybody does want to come to the shows and can for financial reasons, that we will make sure that we sort that out. So thank you, JC, first and foremost. Absolute legend. A lot of people won't get the shrimp gang joke, but me and JC know what that's about. I think you can probably figure it out. So that is a great way to start off tonight's show. And again, I'm humbled, mate, by your generosity of spirit and as a person. So thank you for that. But we do have a lot to get through on the show this evening. We're going to be talking about Everton a little bit and why their ownership thing could be a bit of a mess at the minute. Maybe Mashiri's looking to sell to somebody else. I'm going to tell you why apparently Vinicius Jr. is leading the way for the Ballon d'Or, even though he has the same goals and assists as Darwin Núñez, and lots of other bits and pieces. We're going to be talking about the kit deal as well that we touched on in the video earlier on. Also going to be talking about transfers and loads of other bits and pieces. So let's get stuck into it. Right, do I watch the darts? I do, on occasion, but Thursday nights I usually miss and watch it back later on because obviously I'm usually streaming, but I do love the darts. Hey Craig, hope you're doing well. I am, thank you. Yeah, good. It's been a good day. Weather's nice, sun's shining, which always helps. So, my friends, what is the latest, by the way, in the Villa game? I had heard from our Discord group that they were 1-0 down to Olympiacos, meaning, of course, that there's now a 3-goal deficit there for Unai Emery's team to turn around. Right, let's get into it. First story I want to bring up today is just a couple of congratulations, really. So, I'm sure you're well aware of this, but we've had a couple of nominations for Manager and Player of the Year. Jurgen Klopp has been nominated alongside 4 other managers for the Manager of the Year award. Those managers are Arteta, Emery, Guardiola, Iraola, and of course Kloppo. So congratulations to Jurgen for the nomination. Best wishes to everybody there. And also we've had a nomination for a Player of the Year. Mr. Virgil van Dijk, your club captain, has made the final 8 for the Player of the Season. Other participants or other nominees, I should say: Phil Foden, Erling Braut Haaland, Alexander Isak, Martin Odegaard, Cole Palmer, Declan Rice, our captain Virgil van Dijk, and Ollie Watkins. They are the nominees for the Player of the Year campaign. So remember to get voting if you have a chance. Craig, do you think a swap deal for Diaz and Simmons is a considerable offer for both? Or you said considerable, I think you mean fair, but either way, we'll get to the point. By both Liverpool and PSG. See, I've ruined your comment, Harry. So, Harry, let's pretend I didn't read that out. We'll do it again. Craig, do you think a swap deal for Diaz and Simmons is fair for both Liverpool and PSG? That's exactly the right way to read it out. Do you know, I haven't given it any thought, Harry, until you brought it up there, mate. But what I think is a fair deal, I think we're probably losing on that deal a slight bit if I'm talking about realistic valuations. But would I take the deal? I wouldn't be against it. I wouldn't think it's a ludicrous idea. I do like Xavi Simons, and we did a piece last night in the live video where we said that apparently PSG could be willing to listen to offers of about 60 million euro for Simons. But would I value Diaz at 60 million euro? No, I'd probably value him a little bit higher. So if there was a few quid either way, I might take that. A few quid in our direction, I should say. But it's an interesting one, and it is a good jumping off point for tonight, because according to the English side of things, it does look like Liverpool may well lose a forward this summer. I'm going to read you out something here. So this comes from Mr. Who's this one from again? Can't remember which journal this is from. It says Liverpool's current expectation is that Salah will stay put for another year, even if an agreement over a new deal cannot be reached. That arguably leaves Diaz as the most likely departure given his contract situation. So it does look like we're going to potentially lose an attacker in this summer window. The question is going to be which one. It's David Lynch. Sorry, it was David Lynch that said this. So tweaks to Liverpool's forward areas are understood to be a likely aim for Liverpool this summer, meaning one or maybe more of our attacking line could well be on the way out, which kind of flies in the face of what we've heard in recent times. Now, I guess I want to start off with the conversation around Salah, because there's a line in there that worries me, and the line reads, where is it again? Liverpool's current expectation is that Salah will stay put for another year, even if an agreement over a new deal cannot be reached. That worries me, because I've no problem with Mo staying, but I very, 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 very much do have a problem with letting him go for free in a year's time. So this idea that Liverpool could go into the season with Mo having no agreement, that to me is absolute madness, and will be throwing away money. I hope to God that that isn't the case, because you either extend the man or you sell him. You cannot let him leave for free. It seems madness to me. So I don't believe it, is what I'm saying. I don't believe that those inside Liverpool will view, okay, well, let's let Salah go for free in a year's time. Now, what they could mean is stay with another year with Mo, and hopefully during that campaign, you see enough to show you that he's definitely still at the top level, and then you say to him, okay, now we see it was just a blip at the end of the season, and you try to get a deal sorted. But again, it's risky business, because in January, he could sign a pre-contract to play outside the Premier League, and there's nothing the club could do about it. So I don't like it. I don't like that idea for a start. I'm going to see Jurgen Klopp at the Liverpool Arena on May 28th. I got the wrong date before. Did you get your ticket sorted out, Rachel? Because to the best of my knowledge, they haven't sold them yet. They've put the interested, they've opened up the applications, but to the best of my understanding, Rachel, they haven't sold them yet. But if you've got one already, well in. And for those of you who may not be aware, we mentioned this in the video earlier on. Where was it gone? 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 Yeah, so Liverpool will hold an event at the M&S Bank Arena later this month to recognise the achievements of manager Jurgen Klopp. The club will host an evening with Jurgen Klopp and special guests on Tuesday, May 28th, as they continue to pay tribute to the Reds boss, who is now just 2 games away from ending his decorated 9-year spell at the club. That will also involve you having to have either a season ticket or be a member to buy tickets to this event as well. And then the tickets are priced between £37 and £51, if my memory is correct. JC, thank you, mate. He's gifted another 20 memberships. Absolute legend, mate. Thank you so much. Craig, I don't like the idea of Mo leaving for free. Would be stupid if Edwards to not cash in on him. So yeah, for me, Toby Rose, that's the one thing that I just can't be accepting. If you want to extend Salah, I can absolutely understand that. And if you want to sell Salah, I can absolutely understand that. But I can't understand this idea of maybe letting him go for free in a year. Yes, you get the benefit of him for one more year. But I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, you're not going to get the best of him if he thinks he's going to depart. That's just human nature, and I don't care how professional somebody thinks somebody is. If they know that they're going to be departing, they're not going to give you 100%. I can't be any clearer. I think it's madness. So I hope it's either a new deal or a sale. I can't. The middle part of that just freaks me out. It worries me. Why is Arne slot not being confirmed? It's Arne, firstly, Mohammed. There's no I. Secondly, bro, I don't know, mate. I think there's two trains of thought here, really, right? One, maybe there's still some niggly contract details that need to be ironed out. Or two, they're waiting for the end of the campaign. And it looks like it could be the latter. So I don't know when to expect an announcement. Everybody seems confident that it's going to happen. I mean, you've seen the interviews with Arne Slot. You've seeing the journalists posting freely about him being the next manager. So I don't know if it's just a respectful thing for Feyenoord and to Jurgen till the seasons are over, but I don't think we've anything to be concerned about on it. Right, I think I've gone through a lot of those. I've just ordered Domino's. Well, Ian, enjoy. Right, so who do you guys think? Do you know what? What was that, Craig? We haven't had a poll yet. Don't you worry. So I'm going to ask which one of the forwards you think is most likely to leave. Because that's easier than asking a question and trying to read through all of your comments on it. Let's just get it to a public vote. Right, so who do you think is most likely to leave? Let's start with Diaz, Salah, and the third option is Darwin. Right, so simple question to kick us off tonight. Who do you think is most likely to leave? Now, for those who are coming in and are wondering why the hell we're talking about potentially selling a forward, it's news that's been doing the rounds today from journalists, namely David Lynch, who put a post to say tweaks in the forward areas are understood to be likely aimed for Liverpool this summer. Then there's more depth on the piece where David Lynch said Liverpool's current expectation is that Salah will stay put for another year, even if an agreement on the new deal cannot be reached. That arguably leaves Diaz as the most likely departure given his contract situation and well-documented interest from Paris Saint-Germain and Barcelona, though the Reds won't be pushing the Colombian out the door. Then it goes on to say, still, the obvious priority if Liverpool had to add in this area would be a young, flexible forward capable of finishing with some consistency, which brings sense to recent links with PSV's Bakayoko and Leeds United's Crescencio Somerville. So that's kind of where we're at with this story and the whole forward line debate. So I want to ask who you guys think is the most likely. And we'll get back to that in a few minutes. Everton could go bust. The whole Everton situation's really strange, right? So Transfer Sector posted and they said 2 millionaire Evertonian businessmen Andy Bell and George Downing and US firm MSP Sport Capital will be targeted at potential buyers if Farhad Moshiri axes his deal with 777 Partners. It's weird, that whole sale thing. Yeah, Everton are in a bit of trouble because they owe, I think, 200 million to 777 Partners for money that they were advanced, which I'm sure any new owner would repay that money back as part of the deal to buy the club. But it's looking worrying, and let's see how it pans out. Why do you think Darwin suddenly learned to strike a ball past the defence in a year? Probably suggests he most likely remains the same. What would you take to start Gakpo on the left? So I'll get back to your comment about Darwin first. I don't think anybody's necessarily just sitting here thinking in that year's time Darwin will suddenly learn how to score. I don't think that's the case. I think what we're probably suggesting is in that year, maybe he has less injuries. Maybe he gets a better run of games. Maybe he can work on a couple of little things that will make him a little bit more measured in those moments. So yeah, I don't think it's something as simple as, oh, we'll learn to shoot in a year. Maybe his confidence is down. Maybe he didn't settle. Maybe his English wasn't up to speed enough. There's a whole raft of things that could be a reason as to why people still believe that Darwin could figure it out. And look, I'm not saying you're right and I'm wrong or vice versa. I'm just saying this is part of the process. And what really confused me, though, is the last thing Connor sent to me just before we went live. Madrid Extra saying Vinicius Jr. is now in pole position for the Ballon d'Or. Same goals and assists as Darwin is anything Liverpool's post above it. It is mental, because I got to be honest with you, I wouldn't be thinking Vinny Jr. for the Ballon d'Or by any stretch, but yeah, there does seem to be a nice little extra push if you're a Real Madrid player, though. I'm still, if I was a Bayern Munich fan this morning, I would be still seething at that linesman over last night's game. Hey Craig, happy 1 month. You're amazing. Thank you, Carla. Thank you so much for being with us. I really appreciate your support and 1 month membership. We love that. Thank you, Carla. Trafford goalkeeper was mentioned. Yes, Tanya, he was. Trafford was indeed linked with Liverpool, and the other link for a keeper was Sunderland's goalkeeper. Is it Pattinson? Patkinson, I can't remember the kid's name because I've not really watched them. But they're the only two keepers' names that I've seen linked to Liverpool in recent times. I think the Sunderland keeper is probably more realistic, but they are the names I've seen. We need to sell Salah if no agreement can be reached. It would be a disaster if we let him walk when Saudi could give us 100 million. See, the thing about that is, right, it's all very well and good for us as fans to go, well, Saudi would pay 100 million. Maybe they would. But you also have to remember that he might not necessarily want to go and play in Saudi yet. He might think he has more time at the top in Europe, and honestly, he probably does. So, you need 3 things to happen for any sale. You need to be right for the selling club, right for the buying club, and right for the player. And if Salah decides that he's not ready to, wind down his career yet, then Liverpool have those 3 options of finding another purchaser, extending, or letting him go for free. And I agree with you, the idea of letting him go for free seems absolute lunacy to me. A funny one as well that Mark sent me. PSG had already begun preparations for the Champions League final before the second leg against Borussia Dortmund. Certain people in the club had been told to start prepping for the trip to Wembley, and there was belief with everyone that they would make a comeback in the second leg. Really sad that didn't work out for them. Very sad. Such a shame that a real, genuine, well-run, heart and soul football club like Borussia Dortmund made it to the final and not the petro-dollared fashion brand that is PSG. Damn. Oh well, I guess we'll have to make do with having those amazing Dortmund fans and players and staff at Wembley instead. Daniel Bell, cheers bro, appreciate you. None of the 3 will leave, said Andrew Johnson. Yeah, I think they will though, mate. And I think the journalists are even starting to talk about it now. Look, if you want to bury your head in the sand, because this is what happens with a lot of Liverpool fans, bury your head in the sand all you want. But if they get sold, don't come back into my chat bitching and crying at me saying, you're the type of person you want to be. I'm being realistic. I'm based this off what journalists are saying. But if you want to be that, yeah, everything's great, nothing to see here, nobody's going to be sold, I think you're going to be in for a pretty annoying window, in all honesty with you, mate. But that's my take on it. Ain't nobody getting sold. Yeah, again though, kind of just because you say it doesn't make it true. Edwards may have to play hardball with Salah and his agent to force his departure. See, again, I don't like that because we put ourselves in this position. I don't like people to. I don't want Mo vilified in this situation. I got to be clear about that. There's no forcing anybody out. Mohamed Salah signed a contract. He's honouring the contract, and the club have allowed it to get to this point. So for me, any idea of trying to vilify or make Mo the evil person here needs to stop. The club, in my opinion, have made a mess of all of this. I've said this to you guys for a few weeks now. The fact that Liverpool Football Club have allowed Mohamed Salah, Virgil van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold to get to this point is, I would say, embarrassing. Certainly short-sighted and definitely not in keeping with us being that super clever club. It just doesn't sit well with me. It causes potential headaches, and for what? All I can think of really is that it's to save money. So they didn't want to extend them a year earlier or a half a year earlier, which would have meant paying them more money. It just all feels really tight and cheap again from our owners. That's my perception of it anyway. Craig, there'll be at least 6 sold during the summer, said Mark. Ames, are you keeping the same graphics on the channel next year? Nope. We'll have we're already in development for a new studio for next season. And with graphics that you won't see anywhere else. We're having a whole back-end system currently being built that will... I don't want to tell you what it does yet because I don't want to give anybody else the heads up, but you'll see it. We should have it available for the Euros. So you'll see where the investment went over the summer. And to get back to the gentleman that said he thinks 6 will be sold this summer, I don't know. I don't know what number to put on it, to be honest with you. I think we will lose a forward. I've long been of the mindset we'll lose a forward because Diaz certainly doesn't seem to want to be here by the looks of it. And that's based off, this non-stop links to move to Barca and now to PSG. I don't know what to think about Darwin because I truly don't know where we're at in that situation. And with Mo, again, I think it'll come down to a conversation about respect. I very much feel that Rami Abbas and Mo will believe that it should be a respectful increase in wages for him if he's to stay. I would disagree. I don't think he's earned a pay rise. So I don't think these are going to be straightforward conversations. But my biggest concern is, again, that the type of players that we're being linked to. It's all very well and good saying cheap players can come good. And a lot of the time they can. But I don't want us to just out there signing cheap players this summer. Not with a new coach coming in. I really want the owners to actually get their finger out and make a statement. We've got good academy players. We've got good youth prospects. We need some here and nows as well. Peter McDougall, welcome to Anfield Agenda FC, bro. Thank you. Christchild said, kind of excited for next season. Yeah, I think I'm the same. There's still the whole sadness with Jurgen's departure. But like you, mate, I'm starting to get excited for what the future could hold and how next year might look. So, yeah, I get it. And you've every right to be excited because it's change. We've had 9 years of Jurgen, ups, downs, mostly ups, let's be honest, some great times. And now we've got a shiny new manager or head coach, to look forward to. So I get it. I like the optimism. I'm square in Darwin Diaz stay camp, but if Barca deal involved the swap with Victor Roque, would you oppose? I have a soft spot for Brazilian talents. Well, it definitely looks like Barca have been a bit weird with Roque, right? For me, I think the shout that was put up earlier on from somebody in the chat was one I wouldn't mind. The whole Xavi Simons, Luis Diaz thing. Now, certainly hasn't been any indication from the Liverpool-based journalists that we hold an interest in Xavi Simons, but we did say to you last night that the story starting to come out are that PSG would listen to offers at about 60 million euro. So look, I'm going to say it. If one of the 3 forwards had to leave for me, Diaz, that's where I'd be at. I think Diaz is the most replaceable of the players. I, like many others, still hold some belief that Darwin could come good if he wants to be here. But like I said yesterday, if Darwin doesn't want to be here, and I don't know, but if he doesn't, well, off you pop. So for me, if everybody wanted to stay at the club and there was one player that for some reason had to be sold, I would be in the Diaz being sold camp because I think he's more easily replaceable. If Diaz leaves, we're probably more balanced than if we sign a right-sided attacker, said Will. Yeah, we've got options on that left-hand side. Cody Gakpo obviously is one there. We know Darwin can play in off the left side as well. On the right side, as we've said, I think we could do with some balance there. We've got Mohamed Salah and young prospects after that. Young prospects with some unluckiness with injuries as well. So that's why you see the likes of Iñaki Williams or Bakayoko being linked with the club. Lol, Diaz has been our best player and you're going to sell him. Has he? Show me one fucking metric, dickhead. that he's been our best player in before you call me a clown. One metric. Because it ain't goals and assists. Because he's way behind on that. So, you think he's been our best player, but yeah, Virgil van Dijk's the one that's been nominated for the Team of the Year. It's almost like Johnny No Mark from the comments doesn't have a Scooby-Doo what the fuck he's talking about and just wants to be an asshole. So carry on, mate, but be an asshole elsewhere. Because if you're looking for the best player of the year, bit of a hint, have a look at the Team of the Year. And have a look at the nominations for Player of the Year and see which Liverpool player's in there. Spoiler alert, it's not Lucho. Are we still back in Darwin, said Whitehammer. I am, until I know he doesn't want to be here. You know? For me, I'm absolutely backing him. But if he turns around, mate, and says he doesn't want to be here, or those stories about his agent that we spoke about yesterday, then off you pop. You know? I don't want anyone at Liverpool that doesn't want to be here. So, and that includes Diaz, because I'm sick I've had pain in me hoop listening to his old lad banging on about Barcelona. Barcelona had the money, they would have bought your son. They don't have the money, so shut up. Shut up and show some gratitude. Because Liverpool have moved mountains to make sure that Diaz has been supported. And all these constant links and talk of him wanting to move away, it's a slap in the face. And it's not befitting of how he's been treated, for me, by the club. Please sell Diaz, he's nowhere near Mane replacement, said Uswas. I'd sell you before Diaz. Yeah, but you don't have the option to do that, mate. But I just had the option to ban you there. It was nice and quick and I didn't even have to negotiate. Why do so many people get so butthurt if their favourite player is linked with a move? Like, I don't understand this. There's so many people out there who talk so much shit about the football club they profess to support whilst backing a player who shows nowhere near the same level of support to the club. It really weirds me out. You know? It's weird. We'll win nothing with Darwin this year showed, said Whitehammer. Again, I'm not making these decisions, bro. I'm not the one saying or keeping. I'm just having a conversation about newspaper stories and people get very defensive towards me about it. I don't know what to say to you, man. If I had my way, the team would look a lot different. You know, I'd be more ruthless than we've seen in recent years. But for me, the way things are looking now, I don't think Mo's ready to go to Saudi. So for me, if he took a pay cut and gave him a 2-year extension, I'd take that. But I'd also take 100 million if somebody offered it to him and he wanted to move, because I think it's sensible. With Virgil, I think he has to get an extension. I think he definitely has more years at the top level. And with Trent, I'm absolutely furious that we're in this position. I think it's lunacy that Trent has been let get down to a year to go. He's just coming into his prime. And whatever we think, and people think he can't defend, or he can defend, or he can't score enough, he does score, whatever position you hold on him, make no mistake that there will be a queue of clubs sniffing around, ready to go, if Liverpool don't get that deal sorted out. And to me, that just stinks of stupidity. If Trent goes into central midfield, do we need another right back? Tough question, because of course we know we've got Bradley. We'll also have Joe Gomez, who could cover there. There's been talk of Geertruida coming in, who could cover across. And then we haven't even got into speaking about the likes of Calvin Ramsey, who, of course, has had a pretty injury-ravaged campaign. So, I don't know, mate, is the honest answer. But as I've gotten a bit older, I tend to think if something's unsure, I'd rather go on the side of making sure we had the cover. Because I feel like with Liverpool over the last few years, we've seen too many occasions where we've had this conversation and we think, oh, but we have X and Y and this person could do that. And if this person doesn't get injured, blah, blah, blah. And it's always bitten us in the ass. The centre-back situations come back to bite us in the ass previously. Midfield last season came back to bite us in the backside because we didn't reinvest enough in there. So I would say, if there's any doubts, I'd like the position to be addressed. He just said he thinks Diaz has been our best player. No, he didn't use the word thinks. There was no opinion. He said Diaz has been our best player and he called me a clown. So, you think, Alex, I should put up with that, do you, bro? If I sat here calling you a clown for the next 10-15 minutes, mate, would you unsubscribe to the channel? I fear you might, you know. So, again, don't put words in my mouth. I know what he wrote. I know what he said. And I know what I've seen. And nobody, and I mean nobody, calls me a clown and gets to stay here. I think respect, as we've said, should be a minimum. And I didn't start this conversation with him. He jumped down my throat about an opinion on Diaz and called me a clown. Can't be much clearer than that. I would easily take Isak or Gyökeres for Darwin. I have not watched all that much of Gyökeres. Obviously his numbers at Sporting have been brilliant. Isak I've seen plenty of, and I do really, really like Isak. I can understand other people or anyone that would have concern about potential injuries for Isak as well. But for me, I could, you could see him in this team. I think of it like Son. For years, people said, would you take Son at Liverpool? And in a heartbeat, I said, yes, I can absolutely see Son in our system and the way we play football. And Isak would be the same. So, we asked, who do you think is more likely to leave? And really interestingly, guys, this is really close. So, right now, Diaz is leading with 36%, but Salah has 33% of vote, and Darwin is 30%. So, it does seem like people are pretty torn on who may be leaving. And for those coming in late, again, I just want to reiterate, the only reason we're having this conversation and that poll is running there is because of a piece and a post from David Lynch, or comment from David Lynch, that said tweaks to the forward areas are understood to be likely this summer, and then he went on to speak about the possibilities of each of the individual players moving on, and he said Liverpool, the plan will be for Salah to stay put for a year even if a deal can't be agreed, and it went on to say that Diaz is probably the most likely, viewing that he's been linked with PSG and Barcelona. Isak sounds great, but I really doubt Newcastle will sell him. Oh, I hear you, mate. I hear you. Why would they want to sell him? I get you. But sometimes, like, let's say Newcastle have no European football next season. If a player doesn't want to be there, that can kind of kick these things along as well. Now, I'm not saying for 1 second that Isak's going to try and kick up a fuss to get out, because I don't know. I'm sure he's happy at Newcastle. So I do take your point on board. Has anyone seen Mohamed Amoura play, as Liverpool are linked to him? Somebody, Stevie Boy, gave us a little insight yesterday. So when I was looking at him, the Union Saint-Gillois forward, somebody popped in yesterday to say that for the national team, I think he plays in a wide area, and they've said that he's quite good. They were unsure if he could make that jump up to Liverpool, but the numbers that he's put in for Union Saint-Gillois look impressive. So that's all I can tell you about him, mate. I don't know too much. Craig, say Son wasn't 31, would you swap Diaz and Son? Yes, very much yes. I think Son is probably still underrated for what he's achieved and how good he's been overall. And I like that Jurgen says one of his biggest regrets when he was speaking previously was that he never got a chance to sign and work with Son. He must be a dream for a manager to work with. Would I take Colwill from Chelsea? You know what? I don't know now, but last year 100% would have taken him. Probably would, to be fair. Now, look, Chelsea will have no interest in selling Colwill, I would imagine, because he just signed that new deal last year. But for the homegrown aspect of it, for as good as I think he can be as a centre-back, yeah, I probably would take Colwill. What if your attack next season is Diaz / Jota, Nunes / Gakpo, Bakayoko / Elliott? Elliott won't be playing as a wide player. It's been proven that he's better centrally. Maybe in a 4-2-3-1, perhaps. But Elliott, for me, should be in a central role and should be a midfielder at this point. Maybe a number 10. Diaz, Jota. Well, Jota would be more central for us. And off the left, I think the conversation would be more Diaz, Gakpo. Central, Jota, Nunes. And on the right-hand side, Bakayoko, you say Elliott. I'd be a little bit concerned with that because I don't know enough about Bakayoko to know if he would be able to come in and, let's say, start delivering for us in the Champions League. I haven't seen enough of him. You know, I know he's very highly rated. I know PSV Eindhoven have been scoring for fun on the way to winning the Eredivisie this year, but I don't know, mate. There's a lot of experience gone there with Salah, moving on in your hypothetical scenario. What do you think would need to change out of that? For me, as I said, if I had to lose one of the front three, and this is on the proviso that everybody's happy and settled, I could understand the Diaz one. Because I think he, for whatever reason, doesn't necessarily feel the love or want to be here. I'm not saying he doesn't enjoy playing for Liverpool, but, you know, there's always been talk of a move. So for him, I think that would be one potential headache removed. That's what I do anyway. I really appreciate your question and your input though, Ryan. Thank you, mate. And look, I'd like to put a question back to you, Ryan, if I can. You're a Chelsea fan. How are you feeling about Pochettino now? Because it definitely looks like you guys have turned the corner somewhat. And will most likely get European football, which I genuinely didn't think you'd do unless you won the FA Cup at that point. No, I know you'd be knocked out, but before that. So yeah, I'd love your thoughts on Pochettino, mate, as a Chelsea fan. Would Ollie Watkins fit in at Liverpool? I think he would, Paul. I think the biggest compliment I think we could give to Ollie Watkins now is that most teams in the Premier League, most fans would probably take Watkins if you offered him. And that, I mean that as a genuinely big compliment. Like, Watkins deserves all the credit he's getting. So does Unai Emery for the way he's coached him, nurtured him, and allowed him to blossom into the player he's becoming. He's had an incredible season. He's an incredibly hard-working player. And I think there aren't many teams in the Prem that wouldn't welcome an Ollie Watkins. Have you seen the clip with Rio Ferdinand and the Madrid badge? I haven't. No, I haven't. I don't really know what to add to that, mate. No, I haven't seen him. Yeah, I don't know what to say after that because I don't want to start insulting people. But no, I haven't seen it, and I don't mean insulting you, by the way. Just no, I'm not the biggest fan of Rio the guy. Sometimes as a pundit, though, I've got to be honest. I think Ferdinand can break down defensive situations quite well, but I also think he talks a lot of pony a lot of the time. It took him 9 months to go back to his pre-season tactic with the inverted left back. Now we look solid and can hopefully get 6th in Europa League football. I think you're definitely going to get European football, but that could also, Ryan, as I'm sure you're well aware, open up a whole can of worms with profit and sustainability. But I think if I was a Chelsea fan, at this point, I'd probably say keep Poch. He deserves the opportunity because he's shown that the players are still there for him, and I don't think you're going to be able to uproot the manager again and it'll be smooth. So I think keep with him. If I was the Chelsea board, I'd certainly give him another season. I'm also new to the channel. Good stuff here, my man. Joe, welcome in. Joe Barrage, welcome in, pal. Appreciate your support. Always lovely to have new people in. So thank you, mate, for coming in. Do drop a like if you haven't done so, my friends, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also, normally this is the point of the show where I'd say, if you want to come to the Cardiff show, we need to sell 2 tickets every day to sell it out. But we've already sold them. The show's not sold out, but we've already sold today's tickets, and we sold our first family ticket as well, which is amazing. So thank you to everyone that's bought tickets so far. It's shaping up to be an absolutely fantastic night, and just to remind you, you can scan that QR code or use the link at the top of the chat if you'd like to come along and see us. It is an all ages event, so everybody's welcome along. It's £15, £15 for a ticket, or you can get 4 tickets for £50 as a family bunch. And I can't wait to come along and see you guys. It's selling really well, and I'm delighted with that. So thank you to everyone that's bought a ticket. Belfast obviously is coming up at the end of this month as well, and we're going to be releasing the Liverpool tickets on the... Liverpool will actually, ironically, be the last ever live show we do, because it's the last run of this 3. So yeah, Liverpool are going to go on sale May 20th, and then that's it. No more Anfield Agenda live shows. So if you want to come and see us, these are the ones, because after that, I'm hanging up my microphone with regards to live shows. Craig, you look like MVG. I do, Evie, but he's got way more money than me. He's way more talented than me. He's got a cooler, deeper voice than me. But apart from that, I look like the one that shows up off Temu if you order a Michael Van Gerwen, Arne Slot Love Child. What happens in these shows? So it depends on the venue, because different venues have different ability for us to do different things. So I'll talk you through them. Belfast, we're going to have a musician with us. So we're going to have about 45 minutes or an hour of all the Liverpool songs. Then myself and Connor will, well, probably Mia first, will take to the stage for 90 minutes of fun. There's going to be some interactive stuff with the audience. There's going to be some behind the scenes stories. And then we'll finish up with a big sing song as well. Cardiff, I don't know about the musical side of Cardiff yet. We're still figuring that one out. But it's going to be all interactive, fun stuff and behind the scenes stories and secrets that we can't tell on live streams because we'd get in trouble. And we're going to have fun. And all of the shows involve meet and greets as well. So when we're done, we're going to come out and we're going to spend an hour or so with everybody, taking photos, having a chat, and just hearing about yourselves, basically. Imagine this is Darwin's ceiling right now. Would you keep him at that? No, I wouldn't. No. If we were to base next season off this season again, my own personal belief would be no. I don't think that would be good enough. But other people will argue that his numbers aren't all that poor. I just think the numbers mask some stuff. But you can also argue the chances that he's missed, would somebody else have naturally gotten those chances, or are some of them created because of Captain Chaos and the way that he creates some of these opportunities with his physicality or his pace? So these are never straightforward conversations. You can't just look at the numbers. You can't just look at the eye test. I think you have to combine everything. I know I'm a Chelsea fan on the Liverpool channel, but I'm a fan of all football too. Love the channel and content. You have a great community here as well. That's very kind of you, Ryan. Thank you. And you're all the way over in New Zealand as well, dude. Pleasure to have you with us, mate. Thank you for giving up some of your time to come in. And I'm like you. I'm a Liverpool fan through and through, but I'm also a fan of football. And I love chatting football with anyone, especially kind folks like yourself who come in for a genuine conversation, you know, and aren't coming in to troll or anything like that. So great to have you with us, mate. And thank you again for your comment. Craig, I'd like you to live in your garden shed. Can't help but love you too much. My garden shed's crap, to be honest with you. There's not much room in it. It's quite a small little thing. Mr. Superchat Corbin, apologies, sir. Apologies. There we go. And thank you for sending it as well. Do you see us going for Sesko with that clause? So the only Premier League club that I remember being linked with Benjamin Sesko was United. I do like him as a footballer. So, and again, I've said this many times, anybody that comes through the Red Bull system is usually alright. So, and usually very well versed to the way that we play. So, I wouldn't say no, but I've not seen anything myself that links us to him. Craig, on the poll, who do you think leaves? I think Diaz is the most likely one because, well, okay, I'm gonna answer the question as honestly as I can. As I sit here now, I don't know where Darwin's head's at. I don't know if Darwin's just disappointed with some of that really disgusting, toxic shit that he was sent that nobody should have to deal with. I don't know if he just can't settle in Liverpool, or I don't know if there's something else. So right now, I'm up in the air on Darwin. If Darwin didn't want to be here, then I'd sell him and Diaz, because both of them seemingly have ambitions to move elsewhere. But if Darwin was happy, I'd go with Diaz. I'd go with Diaz. That would be my Diaz for me. I think he's the easiest replaceable, if we even need a replacement there. With Salah, it's a whole different conversation. You've got to replace both experience, goals, assists. And I don't think he's ready to go to Saudi. I know we keep talking about it, but I really don't think that he's ready yet. I think he thinks he's still got more time at the top level, and I don't blame him for thinking that. So I'd like to see Liverpool agree a deal, an extension with Mo on reduced terms for 2 years. And I think I'd be comfortable at that. Virgil, same thing. I think he should get a new deal. Diaz, he just doesn't look like he wants to be here, mate. And I'm sick of any of these type of conversations and distractions around football. So if you don't want to be here, off you pop. That's the way I look at these things. And it seems, again, it's close, but we'll leave the poll up because I'm genuinely intrigued by this. But so far, who do you think is most likely to leave? You guys have gone 36% for Diaz, Salah 33% and Darwin 31%. Who is your signing of the season in Europe? Grimaldo? Well, he's had a massive impact, yes. Look, I feel like me talking about who the signing of the season has been in Europe is very fanciful because there's a lot of players signed that I'm sure I won't even remember or think about. You'd have to say that Jude Bellingham has had a great impact on Real Madrid. You know, La Liga and potentially a Champions League. So that's a big impact as well there. But Madrid were winners anyway. Grimaldo, as you've said, you know, for the age profile he is and the way that he fits perfectly into that Leverkusen side, that was impressive. I'm just off the top of my head trying to think through other signings in the top leagues. I mean, Kane's done numbers for Bayern Munich, but they haven't delivered trophy-wise. I'd probably say Bellingham. Yeah, I feel comfortable saying Bellingham. Craig, is Amorim too demanding for top clubs to hire him? I couldn't tell you. Like stylistically with us, I can understand if Liverpool made that decision against Amorim because of his preferred formation and style of play versus the way our academy and club is set up. With West Ham, I thought West Ham were punching there, to be honest with you, looking for Amorim. Chelsea, I thought would have been a good fit if they moved on from Pochettino. But if he's asking 10 million a year, which is what was being mentioned when we were in that conversation or when he was linked to us, that's a lot of money for a manager who's won league titles in Portugal to be looking to come in on. I don't know where he ends up though if he moves. Genuinely don't know where he ends up now, and he hasn't even been mentioned or linked at all to the Bayern Munich job as an example. Ryan said Salah would be a great for a Bakayoko to learn from. Of course, yeah, God. I mean, I can only dream of what it must be like for any young player to go out there in the training pitch, you know, forwards to work with the likes of Mohamed Salah or defenders like Kwanzaa to work alongside Virgil. I mean, absolutely. What do I watch with the missus again? Below Deck. Below Deck is the name of the show, mate. I don't think Bellingham has been so good. I mean, look at the numbers, though, that he's done at Real Madrid this season as not even a real striker, let's say. Now, I have to say, in some of the bigger matches, like The Champions League semis, he didn't really produce. It was certainly Vinicius Jr. that would have been the standout player in a Madrid shirt, and Toni Kroos as well. Oh, that pass in the first leg from Kroos to Vinny Jr. for Real's first goal. Was it the first goal? I don't know if it was the first goal, but wow, what a pass that was. Has anyone seen that weird reindeer thing on Netflix worth a watch? I've heard reviews of it are great, Evie. It's about a stalker who stalks a comedian. It's based off a true story, and I've read some notes on it, but I've not watched the show. But the critics' reviews of it are very good. Right, I've got some more stuff to get through. Graham Potter has now officially turned down the Ajax managerial job. Could he be the next England manager? You know, if Gareth Southgate does indeed end up coming in and taking the United job, I think I could see Graham Potter being approached by the FA. I think he'd be a good appointment for the FA, to be fair. I can see him working in that structure. This is a really interesting one that came from Adam Crafton. And it said, FIFA has been threatened by FIFPro and the World Leagues Association, the bodies representing professional players and leagues, that if it does not reschedule the 2025 World Cup, they will face or could face legal action. So, remember yesterday and recently we've had those conversations around player welfare and who's looking out for the players? Well, it seems like FIFPro and the World Leagues Association have finally had enough with this, and greed is surfacing yet again. And I don't blame them. Players play too much football as it is, and it hurts the product. The best example I can give was last year's Champions League final. You got Manchester City and Inter Milan, two teams who played some excellent football that campaign, and the final was a joke. Everyone was exhausted. It was a terrible spectacle. It wasn't the festival of football that you would hope for a big European final. And that's because the players were just exhausted. Carl said, going Tenerife for 3 weeks on Saturday. Can't wait. Nice. Well, I know how hard you work, mate. So well earned. And delighted for you. I got myself a bargain last night. Got myself and Sabrina a week's holiday in Turkey in October for a grand total of, I think it was €880 for flights with extra legroom seats and accommodation. I can't wait. That's like the cheapest holiday I've ever booked. Right. Good series to watch on Netflix, Reacher. I could be dumb here, but is Reacher not on Prime? Again, I'm probably wrong. But I thought Reacher was on Prime. I could be, as I said, wrong. Right, I'm going to end this poll because it's staying quite consistent. So you guys think that Diaz is the most likely Liverpool forward to depart this summer? A little bit on the Champions League draw. You will be happy to know that Liverpool will be seeded in the first rank seeding for the Champions League draw next year. So a little bit different. Remember previously you had pot 1, 2, 3 and 4. You had the top seeds in pot 1, then top 2 plus 3 4, and you went through and picked one from each pot, and that was your group. 6 games, 3 home, 3 away. It's a little bit different now because it's going to be one giant 36 team league, but Liverpool will be seeded as a pot 1 team. Doesn't quite have the same sway as before, but Liverpool will play, and all the participants will play 8 group stage games, 4 home, 4 away, but against 8 different opponents. So we did get that confirmation that Liverpool are guaranteed to be in pot 1 alongside Manchester City, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Paris Saint-Germain and Inter Milan. They're teams who are already guaranteed it. It's based on the coefficient ranking, and we currently have 114 points, which will put us into pot 1. So Adidas and the kit deal. An interesting bit of reading popped up earlier on from the Echo, and I'm going to read this out to you in its entirety, so bear with me. Last summer, Manchester United agreed to a kit deal extension of 10 years with Adidas, worth a reported £90 million per year over the course and life of that deal. That figure puts them clear of their rivals, but also carries a little bit of risk. The prices that kit manufacturers have been willing to pay have been growing considerably over the last few years, and what might seem like a good deal now might not appear to be so strong in 5 or 6 years' time, which is likely when Liverpool will be thinking about the next tender process beyond this one. Newcastle enjoyed what is a reported £5 million increase per year from Castor, which gives them 30 million quid a season from their kit manufacturer. Then they go on to speak about Arsenal and say Arsenal are locked into a £75 million per year deal with Adidas. Manchester City receive 65 million per year from Puma, and Chelsea get 60 million per year from their long deal with Nike. So it looks like Liverpool will probably be in and around the 75-80 million pound bracket if they go for a flat fee deal. If it's another hybrid type deal like we have with Nike, I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. But that is kind of where we're at. So expect the announcement in early 2025. That's also what we've been told. So you probably won't hear anything official on this for the next while, but the decision's been made and that official announcement is reported to come out at the at the start of next year. What's a hybrid deal? Right, so at the minute, Evie, we get a guaranteed 30 million pound per year from Nike, but we also get 20% of all Nike branded Liverpool merchandise that's sold. Liverpool get 20% of that. So when you add all that up, it's believed, because we've never actually seen these figures, it's believed that Liverpool currently earn about 65 million a year from that deal with Nike. Now, there are some stipulations I have to make here. So, not everybody gets that type of a deal, but every club that sells a shirt in their club store will get what's called a merchant's cut, which, if my memory's right, is usually somewhere between 4 and 6% of the price of the shirt. So everyone who gets that, like Sports Direct or JD Sports or any of these. But Liverpool were one of the few clubs, alongside the likes of Real Madrid and Barcelona, who've been able to get one of those type of hybrid deals where you get a small amount up front and then you get a percentage of the merchandise sold. Would Gvardiol have worked for Liverpool? Oh God, yes. Yes. Look, we were big fans of Josko Gvardiol here, and I'd hoped that he would come to Liverpool. Obviously, Manchester City paid the money and got him in, but he is a self-professed Liverpool fan, and I would have loved him at Liverpool. I can't lie, I would have loved Josko Gvardiol. Oh, what's this? Oh! Roma 2-2 on aggregate. Wow. That's mad. 2-2 on aggregate. Wow. Got to go. Been watching the show for 2 years. Keep up the great work from Australia. Thank you so much, mate. Really appreciate you, and have a good day. Oh, both were penalties. Wow. I want to just quickly check in on that while we're on here. One sec. Wow. And that's in Bayer as well. That's over in Leverkusen. Wow. Huh. Wow. That's at the Bay Arena. That's crazy. Could you do a poll, please, saying that you think Trent will move to midfield? Absolutely, Carl. No problemo. 1 second. Do you want me to say, do I think he will or should he? I think, if you don't mind, I'm going to go with should he. 1 second. Right. Polls up there, Carl. Vote away. Craig, are you like me, low-key want Leverkusen to get beat because you're bitter Xabi Alonso turned down? I'm not going to say I want Leverkusen to get beat. But I'm defo bitter about the Alonso thing, yes. I can understand his thought process and his decision. But, when we knew we were going to lose Jurgen, bringing back a Xabi Alonso would have softened the blow a little bit mentally. But no, I'm not going to say that I don't want them to go through just because of that. Do you know what is interesting, though? The fact that Jude Bellingham is going to be lining up against his former team in the Champions League final. That's mad. That is mad. Do you think Slot will have a good run in the Champions League? I don't know, George. I hope so, George. Yeah, I feel confident we'll do well. Because look, we have a love affair with the European Cup. And secretly, I'm delighted that we get at least 8 group stage games next season. One, an extra game for Liverpool fans at home in the group stage to get to go and watch, which is always a good thing. I'm always happy when Reds get more opportunities to go and watch the team. You always want the home draw in the Cup, for example, because I know a load of people in the Auto Cup scheme, that's the only chances they can get to go. So I think he'll do well. I'm excited. Like somebody said earlier on that they're looking forward to next season, and that's kind of where I'm at as well. It's going to be sad saying goodbye to Jurgen, but after that, 9 years is a long time to have the same manager at a football club. So the idea of something new is both scary but also exciting. Did Bayern get robbed on the offside goal? So I'm going to give you my take on that, Queen Nadra. And it's quite simplistic. Yes, I think Bayern got absolutely 100% shafted. And I think it is yet another example of referees and linesmen not doing their job properly. Let's look at the situation, shall we? The ball was played in diagonally and the linesman put the flag up. Too close a decision to do that. Way too close a decision. If a linesman puts the flag up, it's usually because it's a very clear one. So, with what was at stake in the last stages of the game, the fact the linesman put that flag up for anything other than a foul. If he spotted a foul and did it, fair enough. But he didn't. He put it up for offside and it was a complete shit show. What then happened so quickly that I don't think Rudiger would have had a chance to react, and I don't think that Lunin would have got near it. I think they would have scored that goal. And that, for me, is disgusting. Because Bayern gave it all out there. And Madrid, incredible turnaround. Joselu's 2 goals, brilliant, very dramatic and all of that. But yeah, it's disgusting. And it's against what they're told to do. They're told to keep the flag down, allow play to go on, and if a decision needs to be made on a goal or anything, then go to VAR and look at it. Disgusting. Quite honestly, disgusting. I'm not trying to say in any way, shape or form that there's anything sinister about it. I think it was a mistake, but a really, really poor one. A really, really big one. And if I'm Tuchel or those Bayern players or a Bayern fan, honestly, there's nothing would calm me. It would drive me demented. It's so wrong. And so avoidable. So avoidable. So yeah, I think they were robbed. I do. I feel like they were robbed. And I feel like once again we're seeing referees and linos having too much of an impact in a negative way on what could have been. Who knows what might have happened? Bayern had scored that, maybe they still go out. But I know that they deserved the opportunity to at least let VAR have a look at that. 2 ex-Stoke players on the pitch yesterday. I know, Choupo-Moting up one end for Bayern Munich, and then Joselu obviously at the other end. So what do you guys think about it? You've asked me what I think of the Bayern decision, but what do you guys think? Do you think it's a nothing situation? Do you think it's a mistake by the official, or do you think there's something more sinister to it? Because none of them are going to help Bayern Munich out, and they were certainly shafted. Right, we can leave this poll, Carl, because yes, everybody feels Trent should go into midfield. 88% of people in that little quick poll. Hoping Royce lifts the Champions League trophy as a send-off. He has definitely earned it. So I want to just revisit something really quickly. At the start of this stream, JC Galvanil, as you can see, very kindly put in a $200 super chat. Having spoken with JC offline beforehand, I know that he wanted to make that donation. So if there are people who would like to come to one of our live shows but don't have the money, and let's be honest, we've all been there. I know I've certainly had many times where I've been stuck for money, barely had enough to pay bills, and going out or entertainment was definitely not top of my priority in those days. So if anybody can't come for financial reasons, email me. contact@AnfieldAgenda.com. Everything will be kept confidential and private. It's what we do these things anyway, to be fair. We've done it for other people, but we want to say it again. If you can come to the show or want to come to the show and money's a genuine barrier, you deserve your respect and dignity the same as everybody else, so it will never be made public. But do email me and we'll make sure that you get sorted out. There's been enough very kind people like JC and others who've put money into a pool for a night like this, and we always have that on standby. So just email us, contact@AnfieldAgenda.com. As I said, it will of course be kept private and confidential, because we never want money to be a barrier for anything. There's a reason all of our content is free. It's because I don't agree with fan content going behind a paywall. That's just my own opinion. I don't judge anybody else. But for me, I would hate money being a barrier for somebody not to be able to chat or come in. It shouldn't be for us. We're a community. Like we say about teams, we win together, we lose together. And this means a lot to us. So if it is the case, do just reach out and we'll sort you out. Connor's not buying the drinks though. I can promise you that one. I've been asking Connor to get a round in now for 6 years. Not happened yet. So don't hold much hope on that one. If you see anything weird going on in the stream now, that'll definitely be Connor just trying to get me back. Nunez and Diaz need to leave. Get new forward, said Andrew Wright. I can understand your perspective, mate. For me, I'm okay with Darwin up until the point where he says he wants to go, and at that point then fair enough, off you pop. But I'm more than happy to give him another year. But I'm concerned. I am concerned about this whole taking down Liverpool stuff, and the talk that was in the newspapers yesterday that his agent George Mendes offered him to Barcelona as an example. That worries me. Craig, you and the lads are fantastic. This is why we love the channel. Honestly, it's not really need to thank us on this. Yes, we do these things normally anyway, but I would expect nothing less from our community, because I know how good you guys are. So when JC or Brian or Barry, and by the way, there's some stuff I don't even tell you about, like, how do I say this? Okay, I'm going to tell you a story now. And I'm not going to name names because I don't want to use anyone's names. But there's somebody who's coming to our show who reached out to us, and there's no financial problems or anything like that. Just wanted to come to the show. Big fan, and we're wondering about it. So we, of course, got a lovely message from the person. And we said, no problem. Tickets are on us. We'd love to come and meet you. Come along. I said this to somebody in our community, and I don't want to say the name, but they came back immediately and said, if that person and their family needs accommodation or travel or any special allowances made to make them able to enjoy the event, let me know and it'll be my pleasure to sort it out. That is what this is about. That's why I believe our community is different. You guys are truly everything I love about the world. And everything I don't see in other parts of the internet, which is why I love being on here so much. It's so refreshing and nourishing to see people genuinely give a shit about other people and care. Even if it's just a kind word in the chat, if someone's had a bad day or someone's loved one's passed away, it never, ever, ever ceases to fill my soul. So big up every fucking one of you, because you're special. And you add to people's days and people's lives. And that's why we're all so close in here. And that's why, also, I don't put up with shit. Because you deserve better than that. I deserve better than that. And we can't reward that type of behaviour because there's enough people getting away with it. So thank you so much for everything you do for each other. It's obviously the linesman's fault. Referee acted on the linesman's flag. It's tricky for VAR to act on it because the ref had blown his whistle. 100% Samu, agree with every word you've written there, dude. 100%. Once the linesman put the flag up and the ref blew the whistle, that's it. That's all she wrote. Not necessarily the flag because you play to the whistle. But yes, ref blew the whistle and that was the end of it. But it was still wrong. And I think you'll agree with me on that, Samu. It was still wrong. Like, imagine that was us and we'd gone over to the Bernabeu and we were 1-0 up and then Real Madrid scored 2 quick turnaround goals and then, you know, let's say Darwin slots that home in the last minute, but the flag went up for Van Dijk winning a header and he wasn't off. Can you imagine? Like, remember how we felt for the Diaz stuff at Spurs? And that wasn't a Champions League semi-final second leg, you know, last bit of injury time. Like, it was poor. It was a poor look for football. Colin said, can't wait for every Liverpool watch along next season. Thank you, mate. Carl said, never hurts to be kind. So I'm going to tell you a little story about Carl. And I know Carl won't mind me saying this because I've said it before. Very early days Anfield Agenda. We had our first ever meet-up. Now, it wasn't a show. We just did a meet-up in the beer cellar at Liverpool. And it was free for everyone to come along to. We just had a reserved area and we went along. So I arrived at the venue and the lady who was working there came up to me and said, hi, how can I help you? And I said, look, we're here. We have a booking, blah, blah, blah. And she said, oh, yes, there's already £50 behind the bar to buy a round of drinks for people put in by Carl, the gentleman in the chat there. And that was early days. And that to me again just made me know that this is different and I love it. And thank you for that, Carl. I've never forgotten it. Oh, Leverkusen have scored. There you go. Advantage back with them. Their unbeaten record still on the line though, right? Because they are 2-1 down on the night, but 3-2 up on aggregate. So there you go. It looks like Leverkusen are going to be in Dublin. There's 6 minutes plus stoppage time to go on that one as well. Would the ref have been as eager to stop Real Madrid if it was the other way around? I can't answer that, you know. The ref probably just initially reacted to the linesman's flag. And as I said, if the linesman was waving that flag around for foul, totally understand it. But we all know, like, how many conversations have we had where we've seen something that's clearly offside, but the linesman doesn't put the flag up until somebody goes and touches the ball, and we said, why they let that go so long? Well, the reason they let it go so long is supposed to be for situations like that situation last night, where if there's any doubt whatsoever, let it play through and we can go back to VAR and look at it. So yeah, it was very sad to see, because let's be honest, Madrid's comeback was incredible. You know, that those 2 Joselu goals and that turnaround was mad, and it leaves a sour taste when football has these moments, for not just for one particular set of fans, but just for the look of the game in general. Pedro said, Craig, keep up the good work, love your channel all the way from Australia. Thank you, mate, much appreciated. Am I going to the final in Dublin? No, I passed up on the opportunity for tickets, mate. We did have the opportunity to have a couple of tickets for it due to one of our commercial partners, but I said no because I my arrogance assumed Liverpool were going to be there and I wanted to be here with you guys if that was the case, so I said no. Do you know what though, in all honesty, I was supposed to go to the semi-final second leg, but we didn't make it to the semi-final. That was the game I had penciled in. So I wasn't going to go to the final, but I was going to go over to Anfield for the second leg of the semis. It just didn't work out, unfortunately. So, no, I'm not going to go to it in Dublin. I did actually put in for the ballot once I knew we were out. I went onto the UEFA website and I did enter in for the ballot, but wasn't successful in it. Neither was Connor. So, no, we won't be heading along, unfortunately. But if you're lucky enough to be going to it, I'm sure it's going to be a great occasion. Looks like it's going to be Atalanta Leverkusen, so yeah, it's going to be great. I'm just proud of my city being able to host a final like that again as well. Do I think Kvaratskhelia would fit if our forwards leave? I personally don't believe that Kvaratskhelia is worth the money. I think him and Victor Osimhen are overpriced. Like, it looks like PSG could be about to pay 120 million euro for Victor Osimhen. I don't think he's worth 120 million euro, personally. And I think the up and down nature of that Napoli team would concern me. And also, I know Kvaratskhelia has made many mentions to the fact that he's a Madrista. So I would always feel if we signed him that if Real Madrid ever come a knocking, then we have another headache on our hands. So no, I wouldn't. Justin Brown said, love this chat show. I feel at home here and I sleep so much better after I watch this. Thank you, mate. Am I watching the Eurovision? No, I'm not. I did see Bambi Thug's performance though. Actually, do you know what? I thought it was really, really good. I thought it was a great visual act. I thought I thought it was good. I thought it was different, and I thought they did very well. If you had a choice between Isak or Darwin, who would you take? I'd probably take Isak for the consistency. Darwin has the higher ceiling. And Darwin, if they both played to the very, very best of their potential, I think Darwin's a better player. But we've not seen enough consistency from him. So I'd say Isak. But, as I said, I think Darwin has a higher ceiling. Shay, did you not like Bambi Thug? I thought it was deadly. Mate. Give me Bambi Thug over Jedward any day of the week. And also, I've now decided if I get another dog and it's a certain breed, it's got to be called Bambi Pug. It's got to be. So yeah, look, I'm going to quickly recap on all the news that we've gone through. So late last night, for last night's video, you may not have had a chance to watch it, but we did say Transfer Sector and Sport Bill posted to say breaking, Xavi Simons could be available for 60 million euro this summer. Then we had confirmation that Liverpool's head of fitness and conditioning, Andreas Kornmeier, is set to leave the club at the end of the season. I'm sure I've read somewhere else that John Achterberg is heading over to join Steven Gerrard actually in Saudi Arabia. I'm sure I read that. What else was there? Then we had some scientific proof of something. Did you see my short earlier on TikTok or on here? Basically, Darwin Núñez and Lionel Messi are the same player. They're the same. They're as good as each other. You can't separate them, and it's science. So, Mundo Deportivo have said, Darwin Núñez was born on the same day as Leo Messi, June 24th. And for Star experts, that's a sign that they were amongst the people touched by the magic wand of football. So there you go. Same person. Both as good as each other. We also then spoke about the fact that Liverpool have confirmed that they will be holding an event at the M&S Bank Arena later this month to recognise the achievements of Jurgen Klopp. Those tickets are open for registration at the minute on the club website. We talked about the Champions League draw a little bit. We spoke about the Adidas kit deal and that it looks like Liverpool could be somewhere if they take a guaranteed amount somewhere around the £75 million, £80 million a year category, but probably won't go into a longer deal than 5 or 6 years. Here's an interesting one as well from Matt Hughes, who said, a growing number of Premier League clubs want the 3 p.m. blackout to be lifted ahead of the next domestic rights auction in a move that influential figures within the industry regard as increasingly inevitable. So that feels like a nice little poll for the last poll of the night. Should the 3 p.m. blackout be scrapped? Right, so before I put the poll up, for those of you who might not be aware, and I'm sure most of you are, in the UK, it's against the law to broadcast 3 p.m. Saturday kickoffs live. The reason that it was there, I think it's somewhat of a draconian law, but the reason it was there was to protect attendances at live football matches. So I totally understand how maybe there was a need for it 15, 20 years ago, but football has come along so much now, and the demand for it is so great that I personally don't think the 3 p.m. blackout needs to be there anymore. So I'm going to put it into the chat and see what you think. Should the 3 p.m. blackout be removed? Yes or no? Then we spoke about the FIFA court case. Then we got into... David Lynch said, tweaks in the forward areas are understood to be the aim for Liverpool this summer. We followed that up with a couple of little excerpts from his piece that said, Liverpool's current expectation is that Salah will stay put for another year, even if an agreement over a new deal cannot be reached. That arguably leaves Diaz the most likely departure, given his contract situation and well-documented interest from Paris Saint-Germain and Barcelona, though the Reds won't be pushing the Colombian out the exit door. It goes on to say, the obvious priority if Liverpool are to add in this area would be a young, flexible forward capable of finishing with some consistency, which brings sense to recent links to PSV's Johan Bakayoko and Leeds United Crescencio Somerville. So that's kind of where we're at with all this stuff. Madrid Extra posted to say that Vinicius Jr. is apparently now in pole position for the Ballon d'Or, to which our friends at Anything Liverpool quote tweeted it by saying, same goals and assists as Darwin Núñez, by the way. And then there was a little bit on Farhad Moshiri apparently looking at another buyer or a different buyer for Everton and 777 Partners. That's kind of where we're at with the news. It's been a relatively slow enough day. And I don't have any answers to people who are going to ask when the announcement of Arne Slot is going to be. Not sure. What else we got? So Saturday is my day off this week, by the way, because we play on Monday. So tomorrow I'll record the preview, but it'll go out on Saturday when I have my day off. So that's where we're at for the rest of the week. Just a reminder, we play Villa on Monday. So we've to go the weekend without any Liverpool games. If you don't mind me asking, why is there a 3 p.m. blackout? So, I'm not sure if you heard me, Jake, if you came in after. It was to protect live attendances at games. So, the theory was, back before football became the financial juggernaut that it is now, if you showed every game on telly or 3 p.m. games on telly, it might stop people actually going to the stadiums to watch the games because they just think, I'll sit at home and watch it. But obviously, football is so popular now, and the increased demand for tickets means that, even with the blackout, you still can't get to a lot of the games, so might as well show the games, in my opinion, and let everybody around the world enjoy it. So it only exists in the UK. So in Ireland, there is no 3 p.m. blackout. Every Saturday, I'm able to watch one 3 p.m. game that Premier Sport shows at random. They just pick a game and they show it. So I've never had to deal with the 3 p.m. blackout. But the UK, I think, it's always been crazy to me that you guys in the UK couldn't watch a 3 p.m. game, but somebody in Australia, America, I don't know, anywhere else in the world could. That always seemed strange to me, but I hope this is the case. And I'm going to go one further. I also hope that the Premier League get rid of all the broadcasters, because I don't think they're good for the game. Yes, they will argue that the Premier League was put to the position it was by the money pumped into it by Sky in particular and other broadcasters. And I get that. But they're greedy now. And we have to have more and more subscriptions to be able to watch football. And it's nonsense. And people are already digging deep enough. And I would like a streaming platform for the Premier League where everybody can go in and just buy their monthly subscription and watch all the games every week, along with some other content, news stories, all this other stuff. And what would I pay for that? Honestly, I think I personally would feel comfortable paying somewhere between 30 and 40 quid a month for that ability to watch all the games on the Premier League and to go back and watch, let's say, the back catalogue of previous games and all the goals and all that stuff. the idea now that we have to have Amazon Prime, Sky, TNT Sports, and occasionally even a few others, if you want to be creative, it sucks for us football fans because we're being fleeced again. They could get rid of the 12:30 matches. I don't like them. I hate that kickoff time, Rachel. I hate it with a passion. But apparently I think it's the most favourable kickoff for the Australasian market, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I hate it though. I hate it. They never make for good visual atmosphere or good visual spectacles with great atmospheres. You know, it's hard to get up for a 12:30 game and be on form or, you know, get behind the team and sing at 100%. I don't like it. I've never liked that kickoff. I'd much prefer either another slot on a Sunday, let's say, is a 6 o'clock or a 6:30 slot on a Sunday. Oh, they've done it again, have they? They are magicians. They are magicians. Bayer Leverkusen refuse to lose 2-2, 4-2 on aggregate. I mean, what can you say? There's some magic going on there, and their quest for immortality is going on, and you gotta just applaud it. Like, what else can you say? That's mental. Fair play to them. That must be some buzz. And the worst part is this whole streaming thing isn't restricted to just sports either. Yeah, absolutely. Like, I don't know how many subscriptions you guys have, but I certainly know I have Amazon Prime, Netflix, Sky, which runs out soon, thankfully, because I cancelled it, TNT. Obviously, you've got to have your music streaming, whichever one your choice is. For us, we use Spotify in our house. I think we've got a Disney Plus subscription. There's a PlayStation subscription for Lucas, an Xbox subscription. What else is there? I think there was a Hey You subscription for Below Deck at one point. It's mad. It's just never-ending amounts of money. It's just like, want to watch this one show you really like? Well, it's only on this one network that don't have a whole lot of other great stuff. So if you want to watch the show you like... Carl said, I'm so lucky I live on Mars, so I get to watch all the Liverpool football games. There you go, Carl. You're also heading off on 3-week holiday, you lucky git, so enjoy. It's one sub in Sweden for all of the football. That's mad. That's crazy. Like, it's good. I mean, crazy good. Yeah, I think football fans are being fleeced. Like, between that, the price of shirts, the sheer amount of stuff, it's mental. Craig, with VPNs these days, you can just stream the 3 p.m. game in the UK, so it's useless. Absolutely. I agree with you, mate, but for me, football over the last couple of years has almost been pushing people further towards the black market, whether that's for streams for games or whether that's for jerseys. They're pricing out their core fan base for greed, and it pisses me off. There's no reason a football shirt should be any more than 40 or 50 quid. None. There's no reason that tickets to games should be any more than, I don't know, 60 to 80 quid, but yet some of the London clubs are charging over 100 quid a ticket. It's just greed. And then you've got your TV subscriptions on top of it. Like, my Sky bill at one point, now granted it was including my broadband, my Sky bill alone at one point was €182 every month. And that's without the other subscriptions I spoke about on top of that. Leverkusen stay unbeaten. Congratulations to them. I pay €11 a month to a dude in the Dominican Republic. So, obviously I have to be very careful about the words that I say. But let me just say this. Somebody in my Discord group gave me a very good option, which I have trialed over the last while, and that has worked. So I will be utilising the option shown to me by the person, as well as my perfectly, completely above board and paid for every month DAZN subscription to Spain. So yes, and again, greed is driving people in that direction. But you know who isn't greedy? I want to give credit to somebody here. Because in a world of greed, you can come and see me for just £15. Or 4 tickets for £50. That is... I mean, as I said, in a world of greed, Anfield Agenda, £15 a ticket, where would you go? Couldn't even get half a game on Sky. But you could come and see me make a show of myself on stage for just £15. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, link in the description. The football shirts are expensive because of manufacturing costs, transport fees, licensing and more. I would argue back and say the football shirts are expensive because they pay ludicrous sums of money to football teams. They pay ludicrous sums of money to sports stars to wear their stuff. They pay ludicrous sums of money to advertise and market their stuff. But you know who they don't pay ludicrous sums of money to? The people who make the shirts. And there's something wrong with that in my mind. And also, all these alternative football shirts. When you're a chunker like me, you can't be going over to your DH Gates of this world because you're getting into the 94 XLs when you look at their sizes and stuff. So, would love to come to a show, Craig, but I live in Sweden. I mean, should we start walking now, mate? We're talking about August here. It's a bit of lazy excuses. Oh, I live in Sweden. Oh, I can't swim. I'm only joking, dude. I'm sure we'll catch up and we'll get to see you someday. So, whilst these are going to be the last ever live shows, and there is no turning me on that one, Belfast, Cardiff and Liverpool are the last ones. We will do meet and greets where we charge like a £5, let's say, where we rent a venue and we go and say hello and we just mingle and have a chat with people and meet up like a supporters club meeting or something. That will likely happen. But no more Craig standing on a stage stuff because it scares the shit out of me. Honestly, it really... my nerves awful. So, these are the last 3 I'm going to do. And at least I can say I've done it then. Because I never thought I was going to be able to do it. And that one show I did in Dublin really proved to me that, okay, I can do it. So, we'll try again. And I want to get over to the UK. I definitely don't want to finish this without doing a show in Liverpool. And that show in Cardiff and a show in Belfast. I can't wait. What's the date of the show? The Cardiff show, August the 2nd. The Liverpool show will be at the Hot Water Comedy Club, and that will be August the 4th. So Friday night in Cardiff, Sunday night in Liverpool. And at the end of this month, 31st of May, we're going to be at the Limelight in Belfast. That is an over 18s event. Tickets for that are on sale on Ticketmaster. So if you want to come up to Belfast, just search us on Ticketmaster and you'll see us there. The Cardiff show, we are selling the tickets directly ourselves, and the Liverpool show will be on sale, the Hot Water Comedy Club website, on May the 20th. They go on sale. Tanya, how are you, my friend? Thank you for your super chat. Said, sorry, missed a lot, back now. Is it just me wondering what's happening in the changing room with our attackers? I've got to say, Tanya, I definitely am concerned that there is something we don't know about. Now, I'm not necessarily limiting this to our attackers. I'm going to stay on, by the way, for 25 more minutes because I've got used to 2-hour shows and I like them, so I'm going to stick with you guys for another 25 minutes or so. I do get the feeling, Tanya, something isn't right. Now, I'm not going to say it's not right just in the forwards. I feel like something doesn't feel right to me at the club. There's too many little things that just don't add up to me. And I never would spread falsehoods, so I haven't really spoken about them publicly, but I have to say I'm a little concerned. And do you know what else freaked me out? The Ryan babbles stuff about saying there could be as much as 40 people changing behind the scenes and stuff when Klopp departs. That is a significant change. Can you film the shows and make them available for members or something? I can't even now, because some of the stuff said that the shows I'll end up in court if it appeared on YouTube. Yeah, like these type of shows, you give your real views on the industry, on certain people in it, some stories that about Liverpool that you know over the years that you couldn't possibly say on a stream. So no, I couldn't film them and put them up, because then I couldn't be as honest as I want to be. We all thought it would be either Mo or Lucho being sold. What if Darwin is the one who's got to go, or who's going to go? Again, we adapt and move on. Yeah, we adapt and move on. Like, I can't say I'm not concerned about the Darwin situation. I am, because he seems unhappy. I can absolutely sympathise, empathise, and agree with him that some of the reported abusive stuff he got sent is disgusting, and nobody of any walk of life should have to look at that. But I also don't like seeing the reports of his agent offering him to Barcelona. That feels disrespectful to the club as well. So if he's happy to stay, I think a lot of Liverpool fans would be happy to give him another season, see what he could do. But if he wants out, he wants out. And, you know, I don't want anybody who doesn't want to be at the club. Are you having a new background for every season from now on? Yes, we usually try. It's more, yes, we'll have a new studio for next year, definitely built. But I'm probably a year away from building a physical studio as well, like an actual real studio. I just need to save up more money to get to that point. But the really exciting stuff for next season is going to be the technical side of what we're having built. I don't want to tell you exactly what it is yet, because I don't want anybody else coming in and trying to copy us. But we have invested in developers to build us a bespoke system that nobody else will have the ability to do all the things that we're going to have the ability to do. And it's been under development for 4 months, 5 months at this point. And some little bits of it you've seen on streams. The bigger stuff is still to come. So, yeah, watch this space. I think Salah wants to stay. It will be Darwin, said Tanya. Look, if Salah wants to stay, I hope the club can agree an extension with him, because the line in David Lynch's piece that said that the club would be open to keeping Salah even if it meant no new agreement, that worries me, because I'd hate us to lose him for free, or I'd hate us to think that maybe we can convince him inside that last year to stay on a bit longer. I just feel like it's an unnecessary risk. But the one that angers me the most, Tanya, is the Trent situation. For the life of me, I think... do you know what? I'm going to be honest and say I find it disrespectful to Trent that as the vice-captain of the football club, coming into the prime of his contract or of his playing days at 25, that he has been allowed to get to this point. And I'm sure that it'll all be fine, and I'm sure Trent understands the lay of the land and all, but it still does open up the opportunity for his head to be turned. And we've seen Steven Gerrard in the past say he didn't feel like the club were showing him love, and he nearly signed for Chelsea. We know Real Madrid are looking for some players this summer, and with 1 year to go on Trent's deal and his friendship with Bellingham and all, you know, you can see how you could make these links. So I find it disrespectful in a way, and certainly ill-conceived, that Trent hasn't been tied down to a new deal yet. It seems mental to me. Mental. Keep up the hard work from Dylan. Thank you, Dylan. Appreciate you, mate. Thank you so much. Member with us for 3 months as well, bro. Thank you. What's happening with Leverkusen is what we dreamed of for Jurgen's farewell season. Yep, it is. But it's a great story though as well, Mahmood. You know, to see Leverkusen have this dream season, you know, as a football fan, I mean, I'm delighted for them. Delighted for a fan base that have had to wait till this year to win their first Bundesliga title, and now they're in a Europa League final. They get to come to Dublin as well, so it's win-win. I mean, what a season. It's just a great, great football story. Same with Dortmund getting to the Champions League final. It feels like a real win for football. Liverpool Prophet said, Craig, I was thinking if Slot does not succeed, would I be open to getting Alonso after a year? I get the feeling that Bayern Munich feel like they're going to get Alonso, because all the talk of whoever their manager is going to be, it all seems to be just around a 1 year thing. So I can only conceive of two ideas. One, that they think Nagelsmann will only do another year with Germany, and that he might become available. Klopp might take the German job and they can bring in, or else they're going to look at it and think they can get Klopp or Alonso after a year. So it's concerning to me that they feel that confident that, okay, they want manager for 1 more year. For me, with the Slot situation, I'm not going into it considering failure, expecting failure, or thinking about failure. I'm expecting that the club know what they've done, pick the right man. I'm expecting them to come in and lift the club. I'm expecting us all to fall in love with them all over again, like we did with Jurgen. And I'm an optimist in that sense. So, yeah, I keep saying this. I'm a bit of a hippie when it comes to energy. I don't believe in a religion, and I don't believe in some other stuff, but I believe in positive energy. And Slot's given off a lot of that when I've seen him being interviewed, and who knows what the football gods have in store for us, but I know I'm ready to get behind him, fall in love again, and get hurt all over again if needs be. Gianluca Maguire must have had a bet on Leverkusen. Is he the ref or something? Sorry, mate, I don't know who he is. Anisha said, I reckon Alonso will end up at Madrid. Absolutely could do, and who could blame him? You know, he could walk into a team there with Bellingham, Mbappe, Vinny Jr., Rodrigo, Camavinga, Tchouaméni, probably Alphonso Davies. I mean, could you blame him? You know, in the country he grew up in, the pinnacle. You know, it is one of the biggest jobs in the world. So, I wouldn't blame Alonso in the slightest if that was the case. It was nice to see him give that extra year to Leverkusen. You know, that was respectful of him. It hurt me as a Liverpool fan because I wanted him at Liverpool, obviously. But, you know, he's a very principled, genuine man. So, whatever he does, I'm sure he'll succeed at it. And I wish him nothing but the best. Oh, sorry, I didn't understand where you were going with the Gianluca Maguire as in Mancini. Sorry, mate, my mind wasn't putting those pieces together. Oh, and I haven't seen the goal, so I didn't know what the OG was like. But you mean, yeah, Gianluca Mancini. Isn't he? Isn't the Roberto Mancini's son? Todd says he wants to win but keeps buying kids, said Fidget. Yeah, but at least buying kids is better than trying to get an extra player into his formation, like he was doing at the Football Expo at the start, remember? With his 4-4-3 formation. Did I hear Lee Gunner slating the guys from the club and Goldfish on a stream last week? It was funny. No, I haven't. No, I haven't. Yeah, look, what I like about Lee, apart from the fact that he's a very, very good friend to me, and always has been, is that, like me, he says what he thinks. And if he has an opinion of somebody that he wants to express, he says it. And to me, that type of straightforwardness and sincerity is a very appealing thing. Like, I like Lee Gunner a lot. I would regard Lee as one of a handful of people in the industry I work in that I would call a friend. We always message each other. It might be a couple of months where we may not exchange messages, but then we'll check in. And he's only ever been kind and looked out for me, and I can't but speak highly of Lee. I know he's not everyone's cup of tea. That's fair enough. You don't agree with his football opinions, whatever. But as a man, and as a friend, Lee Gunner is A1 to me. So yeah, but no, I didn't see the clips of what you were speaking about, because a lot of the time I don't watch much YouTube stuff. I kind of just try to mind my own business, do my own thing, and disappear. The only thing I'll say is what I'll add to what I said the other day. This stuff about Goldbridge and that Man City letter is, in my opinion, it's embarrassing, it's disgusting, it's just a blatant lie. And to try and cover your arse by saying it was a social experiment, well, where's the experiment? Because if I was to do something like that as a wind-up, I'd record a part at the start saying, I'm going to do this, guys, let's see how it works out. And then I'd record an end of it, and then I'd put it together and play a video. I wouldn't start saying things like, if we lose, that's football, I'm okay with it, I'm not scared of Manchester City, when he's concocted it in his own head. I think it's truly disgusting. And honestly, I don't have much good things to say about him, so I'm going to just leave it there. But that whole thing was, because I started to have a bit of sympathy. I was like, Jesus, did he really get a cease and desist letter from Manchester City? That's over the top. But he didn't. He invented it. Unlike the legal letter he sent trying to get us in trouble, because I've never read that out in a stream, but he got a solicitor to send legal letters threatening us with absolutely incorrect accusations that are very easily unproven. And it just goes to show what a cowardly little man he is, who thinks his shit doesn't stink and he can do what he wants. I've said it once and I'll say it again. I've no fear of that little lad. None. He is a dope. And he just hides behind his falsehoods and lies by saying everyone's jealous of him. Nobody's jealous of him. I don't give a shit how much money he makes or not. Doesn't matter to me. I don't judge people by how successful they are financially. I judge people by their actions. And there's a lot of stuff that a lot of people know that he should be grateful we've kept quiet about. So for me, that whole letter thing was pathetic. Yeah, pathetic, and a slap in the face to people. That's my take on it. And, it is what it is. I like Liverpool because of Diaz. Now I guess I have to support LAFC. Why? Why? I mean, look. What letter? I've told you, Andre. I'm not going to read it out. He sent a legal letter from a set of solicitors threatening us, and putting a load of ultimatums and deadlines in it with factually incorrect information that caused us a lot of stress behind the scenes and a lot of people a lot of worry based off of whim and based off wholly incorrect information. And it's disgusting. And he thinks he can bully people, and he thinks he can go around throwing his weight around, and he accuses everybody else of being liars and jealous and all this other stuff. But the truth is, Goldbridge is nothing but a coward and a bully, in my opinion. They're my opinions of him. Everybody's entitled to theirs, but I know enough about people who've suffered at the hands of him. And as I said, sending legal letters while professing to be this kind of, hey, I watch football, blah, blah, blah. Nah, sorry. He's not a nice man. And I'm biting my tongue and being kind here, because if I really wanted to say what I have on him, I could open up a whole can of worms. But yeah, it's not for me to say. It's not for me to say about some of the other stuff. But as I said, sending around legal letters with incorrect information, throwing your weight and money around is despicable and embarrassing and cowardly, when a phone call could have resolved all of it. But there you go. So the legal letter is real. No, he got no legal letter from City. He made that up, lied about it, and then tried to hide behind it being a social experiment. So no, we got a legal letter from the United Stand, Um, God, how long ago was this? Months ago. Like, I don't have the date off the top of my head, but months ago. Sent a legal letter threatening um, top of the league, basically. And I can't read the letter out because I'm only one part of the conversation and I don't want to give out other people's information, but make no mistake about it, it's pathetic carry on from a coward. Should we sign the new right winger regardless of Salah's departure? Yes, 100%. I think no matter what happens with Salah, I think we should bring in somebody for increased competition there, because at the moment we've got Cade Gordon and Ben Doak, two, really good young players, but both have a track record of some injuries and haven't really been able to progress. So yeah, I think the more competition you can have, that's some powerful evidence you got there, then isn't there a law against that? I don't know. I don't need to run to lawyers or solicitors to do. I deal with things like a fucking grown-up with a text or a conversation, but I don't need solicitors or anything to fight my battles for me. And as I said, it's not my call whether that letter ever gets read out or not, but if the people behind that letter that are really suffering because of his actions want to speak up, then I'll support them. But until then, I'm doing what I've always promised the people involved, which is not mentioning the full details of it, because I respect my team. So on that one, I think increased competition for places is important regardless of whether Mo goes or not. Same with Verge. I think Verge should have a competitor for the left centre-back spot. And there's probably one or two other positions in the squad that I think we could do with reinforcement for competition. Can you recap what's talking about with the letter? No, I'm not going to recap it, mate. Rewind back the stream and watch it. And as I said, I had no intention of bringing that up. Somebody's mentioned Lee Gunner talking about him and the club lads, so I didn't come into this stream having any thoughts of speaking about it. Just came up in conversation and I just thought, there you go, I'll have my say on it. Love Doak, wish he had health on his side this season, said the Facement Network. Yeah, it would have been really interesting to see how he could have pushed on this season. Same with Bajcetic. Disappointment for both of them. Although I do have to say, the few bits we did see of Ben Doak inside the Europa League games, I was a little bit underwhelmed. But again, I don't want to be too harsh on him because he's still a very young player. Am I a fan of Eze for Palace? Yeah, Eze and Elise, both of them cracking footballers. With really bright futures ahead of them. Why do you think Gravenberch's not been given a chance by Klopp this season? I don't know. It's a fair question, because I think Gravenberch started out quite well initially. Then didn't really get a look in for a bit, but at the end of the season again, I thought we could see a player who was growing in confidence, who wanted to get into the box, who wasn't afraid to try to get on the end of stuff. And I thought I've been very encouraged with what I've seen from Gravenberch in particularly the latter part of the season. Craig, can any Liverpool players in the squad win the Ballon d'Or in the future? In the future, who knows? Probably. I would say there's certainly people that could go on to it, but it's a tough thing to predict, isn't it? It's funny, he says his channel is all about opinion. Then I schooled him yesterday about Tuchel. His whole chat agreed, then he turned to insults. I mean, I don't know what to say, Ryan, mate. Look, I bite back at my chat at times, so I'm not trying to say my shit doesn't stink on that, but Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're alone in that circumstance, Ryan. Let me say that to you, mate. Just join Craig. Which one of our forwards do you see most likely getting sold? So we did a poll on it earlier on, Lucas, and it was a close enough one, but 37% said that Diaz is probably the most likely. Salah was in second and Darwin was third, but they were all over 30%, which was quite interesting. So we did ask you, just before I finish up tonight, should the 3 p.m. blackout be removed? And you guys have said overwhelmingly yes. 85% of you guys say yes, that should be removed. Would I take 4th place next season? Depends on the context of it. So if we started the season poorly and grew in to 4th place, maybe. If we started the season really well, fell away and just hung on to 4th place, probably feel a bit different about it. But in saying that, my aims for next season for the new coach would definitely be, attain Champions League football again the following year and get out of the group stages into the knockout rounds at a minimum. So anything over that, I guess, I think I'd probably be happy enough with, to be fair. So I just want to go over a couple of things again before we finish. Very kindly at the start of the stream, JC put in a $200 super chat. So I want to remind people, if you would like to come to either our Belfast show, our Cardiff show or our Liverpool show and can't come for financial reasons, reach out to us privately, contact at AnfieldAgenda.com and we'll sort that out for you behind the scenes. Some people like JC have put some money into a kitty there for people who might want to come but couldn't come for financial reasons, and we'll sort that out. Of course, everything will remain private and confidential. Other than that, I will see you guys tomorrow at 8:30. And again, thank you so much to everyone that joined in tonight. As always, you guys are absolutely amazing. Appreciate all of your support to myself and each other. And I'll catch up with you